It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, good morning. 30th of August 2019, end of the summer holiday. I'm sorry, Piotr here. It's 8 AM CET, 7 AM London, meaning it's time for pre-London Open live market coverage only here, Light Forex Global YouTube channel. Guys, it's my pleasure to be with you here. Let's start with the risk warning. Please bear in mind, trading FX on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors who can sustain a loss of some or all initial investments. So please do not invest the money you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. All right. So where we are, what is going on the market? Let's switch and check. Let's switch and check the charts here. Before we start with the charts, first thing first, I've been short pound yen. If you remember, I placed 11 pip target price during the Tokyo session, and it's been hit. The target been hit. So good here. Gold is working with our plan, so it might be opportunity to try to buy. Anyway, we will switch and discuss the charts within a few seconds. Calendar, what we have from the calendar perspective, guys. Tokyo core CPI a little bit lower year to year, 0.7 versus 0.8 market expectations, 0.9 previous one. So that's one in relation to the Japanese yen. Unemployment rate better, 2.2, 2.3 expectations. Preliminary industrial production 1.3, 0.3 expectations, minus 3.3 revised higher the previous one, so very good one here. Retail sales minus 2%, minus 0.6 expectations, 0.5 plus. The previous one here worse, right? Building approvals from Australia minus 9.7, market expectations 0, minus 0.8 the previous one. Also, we are going to discuss for a few seconds the Australian dollar, which is moving down. Ahead, German retail sales, that's what we should get right now, right here. Let me check if we have it already. We have, in the meantime, we have another ECB member. Yesterday we had one, and today is Lautenschläger, who is saying that the big package is not needed now. But we know Lagarde was ultra dovish yesterday, so that's the name of the game. I'm looking for this retail sales. In the meantime, Nikkei 225 higher more than 1%. The cloe, yeah, German retail sales minus 2.2 versus minus 1.3 expected. So looks like we have all puzzles related to the German economy already. Someone wants to call it technical recession only. Anyone want to call it technical recession only? No. Oh, jeez. Okay. Next. Around 8:45 AM CT, 7:45 London. French preliminary CPI. So inflation and the market expectations are a little bit higher. So be careful here, guys. Maybe we can see the spike, which might be rejected, faded. At 11 AM CT, 10 AM London. CPI flash estimate from European Union. Then don't forget we have a meeting. It's something unusual on Friday, right? That we have afternoon meeting. Anyway, we are going to cover Canadian GDP as well as US personal income spending, Chicago PMI, and revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment. Don't forget it's last trading day of August. So the big guys are going to try to draw the monthly candles. Something we are going to discuss right now and then afternoon as well. The most interesting from my perspective that's what I'm looking for and waiting for is this monthly candle on euro dollar, guys. We were discussing a bit yesterday, we were discussing this day before, right? But that looks ugly. Let me clean the monthly chart a bit. All right, that looks ugly. For now, if end of the month would be within the next 5 minutes or so, that would be the confirmation that the sellers are totally controlling the market, right? And let me explain. And we have to get back to what we've seen here, right? October 2016, November 2016, weakness, low, right? So in June, we were trying to react following the May and April lower shadows, right? That was not accident. We were testing this latest weakness. Okay, then July, huge breakdown. All right, we engulf June price action. Okay, and looks like over the course of August it was nothing else, just retest, upper shadow, and sellers are controlling the market. So here right now it looks ugly. If you are a bull, it's very good time to try to reconsider the strategy, right? The thing is that, you know, of course I do understand there is a more than 12 hours and everything can change. Bulls need just positive body. Would be great to have a close above monthly open and above July low, right? It's nothing extraordinary, just few pips. It can happen, especially that some models investment banks are using, showing a little bit of the selling pressure on dollar. Unfortunately, not from euro. But you know, to be honest with you, I don't trust these models. They are usually wrong. And if we see some kind of direction, maybe around one of the fix. Okay, so very bearish, and we know that euro is the heaviest inside the dollar basket, so that's showing that not necessarily we might see end of the dollar rally, right? We might be right around the beginning of the dollar rally, because if we are going to get the close monthly, especially monthly close, right, and it's huge opportunity for the dollar bulls, in other words, euro dollar sellers. It's a huge opportunity. We have everything in one today. We have end of the month, end of the week, end of the day, trying to close below 110. So that's gonna be very interesting here. From the intraday perspective, let's switch to the daily chart. Yeah, yesterday we took out the stops when we are talking about the last Friday low, right? So yesterday we took out the stops, and today we're trying to confirm the breakdown. Then the this month low, right? 110.27 is the next, and of course psychological 110 might be in play. Guys, it's just 44 pips from here. Anyway, let's try to connect with Michał. Let's check what he has for us at the end of the month. So please stay with me, bear with me. I'll be back with Michał within the next few seconds. Good morning, Mr. Michał. How are you doing?
Good morning.
It's Friday.
Mr. Piotr. I think I am as good as you are after your trade.
Good is. It's end of the summer holiday. I shouldn't be so happy because of that. But anyway, yeah.
It's still warm. It's still warm. We can enjoy the good weather.
Yeah, exactly. Time is flying. Michał, without further delay, tell us what you have for us.
Okay.
It's all over to you.
I think I will from the shorter statement about the a little bit short statement about the situation between US and China, and we see still that new news are coming from China that they are more likely to go on passive stance in the trade wars, that they are they want to rely more on the of the domestic demand, of the domestic consumer spending and investment and infrastructure, but it's hard to say because yeah, the consumers are working in the fabrics, right, which are mostly exporting their goods that they're producing, and they are also explaining that yeah, after the trade war began in 2018, they barely been hit, which you can see. They are saying that you can see in the GDP. Of course, they are lowering the GDP estimate, but it's still over way over 6%. So yeah, I think they are clearly at least a little bit manipulating those data, right? And they are saying that the export to the US is around 20%, and the rest of the 80 is for the other countries. So yeah, they are trying to say yeah, we will last on our economy, our investment inside the country, and to just wait out this whole situation. But I think it's more likely that they are not, as we spoke before, they don't want to admit the situation, or there is this conspiracy theory which you said yesterday, right? Which is very, very interesting. Okay, so the next thing.
Let me stop you here for a second. Yeah,
I'm lost.
Let me stop you here for a second. Agree with you what you've said, and to be honest with you, I've been thinking about this for quite a while, meaning that usually it was some kind of the comparison when we are talking about the debt, for example, right? National debt. There was a comparison between the Japanese and US, not China, Japanese and US, and people were saying, oh yeah, everyone is talking about the big and huge US debt. What about the Japan? The thing is that Japan can handle it internally, right? Meaning that they can handle all these debt problems internally. What is not the case probably for the US. And trying to make this comparison to the China, if they would be able, as you mentioned, they have only 20% of the export to the US. If they would be able to push higher internal consumption, the first thing, and second thing, trying to make the export to US a little bit lower, that they could be the bigger winner here, right? Compared to, and the US might be the bigger loser in that case. But just trying to compare to Japan, other Asian country. So yeah, getting back to you for a second, and then we will discuss also what is going on this dollar Chinese yuan chart.
Yeah, I just want to mention that yeah, they also said how they're gonna deal with it to diversify the supply chain, tech chain, and try to as you said, to diversify diversify yeah, their trade even more, and about this tech supply chain to to be not to rely on so much on US. So
exactly.
yeah, that they are patiently acting, trying to do what they should do in this situation, which clearly, as they try to hit back to the US, opposing them, and they've been clearly said that no, you won't play in this you won't play in that. You won't play with us in this way. Oh, sorry.
All right. So let's check a few charts before we will continue. Let's start with dollar Chinese yuan. Looks like yesterday price action was nothing else, just the retest of the broken levels. At least that's how it looks right now. Especially that we are approaching end of the month, and from the monthly perspective, is a huge breakout candle here on the dollar Chinese yuan. So looks like 714 right now. It might be the level like a line in the sand for bulls and bears, and so there was an attempt to break this flag to the downside, but looks like it was only retest, and we are trying towards the end of the month we are trying to go higher. So I would watch this chart from the risk perspective. I know that some analysts, as well as the International Monetary Fund, some analysts and IMF said yesterday that the weakened yuan is not big deal. So at some point in the future, that might work well for the Chinese guys. We were laughing. That is maybe not laughing, but we were discussing the weakened yuan as one of the tool from the Chinese perspective to work with this US tariffs. Anyway, doesn't look good from the seller's perspective. 714 as a line in the sand for both bulls and bears. Some kind of the consolidation, and we have a chance to see even weaken Chinese yuan towards 725 versus the US dollar. At the same time, Australian dollar, where the traders are very often looking at what's going on with Chinese yuan, is also weakening, right? So this year low, I'm talking about the 66.75 might be under pressure again, especially that there is no sign of any kind of the lightening pressure from the sell side based on this daily chart. So from the intraday perspective, it looks like 67.25 might works today as a possible supply. So the very interesting situation is that I've been talking about this yesterday. If you are not recognizing the market changes quickly enough, I'm talking about some kind of the correlations when they are broken, then you might be in the big trouble. And here is a simple example to what I've been talking about yesterday. Guys, check the US indices, right? We are doing quite well. When talking about the indices, we can say that some kind of the risk on sentiment, very positive sentiment. But here, checking the Australian dollar doesn't work that way. Usually, it was that if there is a risk on, then Australian dollar is doing well. And frankly speaking, lately, this kind of the correlation been totally broken. That's why I decided to talk a bit about this Australian dollar. So 67.25 as a possible supply here, and especially if they are going to decide to make this 1-to-1 equal wave, that could work that way. And the target, of course, the stops here around 66.85. That's about the Australian dollar. Back to you, Michał.
About the Australian dollar, we could only just add what I said a couple minutes that the Chinese will rely on the consumer spending and invest in infrastructure, and that's what can be the driver for Australian dollar. Right?
Hope,
right?
That's the hope. Yeah, you're right. Of course.
They are buying more. They will buy more those iron ore from the Australians. Okay, maybe we'll go next for the UK, for the pound, because it's a very also I think it's a lot of hypocrisy in what we've seen, and it's I am cringing. When I read those articles, I am cringing so much.
It's a British sense of the humor, right?
Yeah, it's they are. Maybe I will start from this as from my personal perspective. I think what is Johnson doing is good, because we clearly see that the economy is slowing down, and it will it will be better for the UK to like go through this Brexit with the deal or without the deal as soon as it's possible, and make a deal with the US and start to like new legislation, and but what is good for economic, the business spending. And right now the big companies are uncertain of the stability of the law of the trade deals, and right now they are stopping the new investments, right? So how the economy can grow without that? And
Yeah,
I think that
even
the
uncertainty is the big deal here, and 100% agree with you. Once we clearly know, and once investors clearly know, companies clearly know what is going to happen, they can adopt to the new environment. Otherwise, with when there is plenty of uncertainty, you cannot deal with that.
Yeah, they will just slowly bleed out, and even the Queen. I don't know if it's just the Queen advisors, or I don't know what but I think even the Queen sees that, right? Because she approved all this delay in the back to work for the government. So yeah, and the thing that the opposition, what is the mainstream media are calling the new dictator for the Boris Johnson, and trying to discredit him. But I think what did they do for the last 3 years? They did nothing. They just deny all the new possible deals with the EU, and they didn't give any alternative. And right now they are and they are saying that give the power to the people. The people are on the streets. Let the people decide. But guys, they already decide that they want to go out from the EU, right?
That was manipulation.
And they clearly manipulation, and I don't know what is which and what is the interest. Maybe, I don't know, the Soros.
could be the case, guys. Okay, let's try to check a few pound charts, and here we go. There is a cable chart. British pound versus US dollar, and looks like we are fighting for another monthly lower close. In that case, the bears are fighting to get below the monthly open. So the line in the sun today is 21.48, as you can see, right? So if we can confirm the previous month breakdown, because when we are talking not about the shadows but as a low based on the close, so previous month, the July, was the lowest close here on the cable. So the thing here is to try to close below the monthly open. So in that case, bears, sellers are fighting for 21.48 here, just to avoid the situation that we are going to create a dodgy candle, because that might be preparation from the buyer's perspective to create swing low around the 120, and that would be very, very logical move, trying to defend 120, right? So talking about the possible price action today, I do expect some kind of the fireworks, some kind of the demand around 21.50, 21.40. But in case of the move a little bit lower, especially during the New York session, we might see buyers are giving up, and we might see at some point some kind of the liquidation on the cable, especially if later during the day, closer towards the end of the month, if there is lack of demand, and if we are going to be below 21.48, we might see some kind of the liquidation, talking about the pound longs. So in that case, that's going to be very interesting. From the intraday perspective, again, I'm looking for a Monday low. So here, green dotted line, 22.07. So in between 22.05, 22.25, I'm looking for a selling opportunity from the intraday perspective. And as a target, I'm looking for 21.30 21.35. In case we are going to hit this 21.35 before higher levels, then I'm going to skip that selling idea. Euro British pound, again, congratulations to everyone who took the advantage of the yesterday price action. We had a plan. I've been explaining why I didn't participate. I didn't like what is going on in UK. But anyway, it looks like our plan works well here. The sellers around 91 were very active. So for today, I do expect some kind of the range. I think both EU and UK, are weak currently. So it's going to be more about the US dollar than euro or pound. So in that case, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be today's range. We are talking about the 90.50 and 91 on the euro pound. So very tight range. It's my expectation. The last one is a pound yen. We were short yesterday live during the New York session. As I mentioned, because of the Tokyo session, before I went to the bed to get some rest, I placed 11 points target price and been hit during the Asian hours. Overall, I do expect weekend pound, but I do understand that because of the end of the month flow, it might be delayed a bit. I do expect that at some point in September we are going to see the levels below 120. Back to you, Michał.
What I want to add for the pound, that overall I am personally pound positive, because of we did saw that even those media pressure and the opposition were shouting that he's a new, they want to stop him from doing that. The Boris Johnson, I think it didn't work out as much as those news that turn over. I think this midterm trend, and I am overall pound positive and most likely to trade pound with the euro, as you clicked.
Okay.
So right now the chart. So according to this, I am pound positive, and we should see a stronger pound, and in the midterm. And I don't know if you want to talk about something else, or I just should stop right here.
It's up to you. If you have something else for us, share with us.
Okay, I will just we were talking about on Wednesday about the new pipeline in the US, and that they are trying to make to become a new world export leader of the oil, and all the situation about the oil. And right now we see that the IPO, which is coming, the Aramco, Saudi Arab company, biggest in the world. We are receiving the information that they are preferring the Tokyo to make their IPO rather than New York or London. So
But it's they trying to do this IPO for quite some time, and it was like, okay, let's do this in New York, okay, let's do this in Tokyo, no, let's do this in Dubai or whatever. So looks like really they don't know what they want to do. That's how I see the things. You pushed us towards the oil, so let's check what we have from the oil perspective today, Friday, end of the month. Yesterday we created the trading plan from the short-term perspective, right? And we were talking about the levels close to 57.50, meaning that we are waiting for some kind of the stop count above this falling trend line like this, right? Even we are trying to find how algo we're trading. So we are trying to look for the same in size move to the upside. Unfortunately, it didn't materialize, so looks like we just hit to the point, to the cent, the falling trend line. But if you were listening carefully, the 3 educational webinars we held in June, you know that once it's strictly to the point, then it might work as a magnet, meaning that probably we are going to retest these levels at some point over the course of the day, or maybe as early as next week. Still, I do believe we might see this stop count above this trend line. But that's from the short-term perspective. From the long-term perspective, as we discussed for a few days already, I think 59.50 and 60 might be the target based on the equal waves to the upside, and then because of this possible over-under from 59.50 and 60, we might see the bigger wave to the downside. And I know it might sound funny today, but we are talking about the levels close to 35 and 30 on oil. Back to you, Michał.
That's all from my side. I guess it's no point to extend.
Any good plans for weekend?
No.
No
Busy,
party,
busy,
no drinks.
busy
Come
again,
on, it's
busy
it's
again.
end of the summer holiday. You
Yeah,
should have a party.
This year, no vacations.
No vacation this year.
Maybe in the end of the year.
Okay. So Michał, I wish you great weekend. Recharge your batteries, and we are get back to you on Tuesday, as far as I'm aware of timelines.
Yeah, you know better than me.
Okay, Michał, all the best. Thank you very much. It
Same
was a
to you,
pleasure
same
to
to
talk
everyone.
to you today.
Yeah, thank you
See
for having
Tuesday.
me. Bye bye.
That's what I'm gonna look for. Trying to fade, trying to take the advantage of eventual rejection around 107, 107.30. From the bulls perspective, I think that we can agree that if that's the if we can agree that that's the consolidation, so from the bulls perspective, a pullback towards right now 105.80 might be some kind of the buying opportunity, and 107, 107.30 gonna be first target. And if you remember, we discussed that if we are going to break through 107.30, levels close to 109 might be the next target. Indices, no change in view. I think that from the Nasdaq perspective, we are very close to 7,850. So I think we might see some kind of the stop count, especially this end of the month. Plenty of opportunities to manipulate the market. So yeah, today I'm looking to try to fade the rallies towards 7,850. Gold, finally, I've been trying, if you remember, I've been trying to sell gold twice this week from the intraday perspective. In both cases, I've been closing my shorts around the entry level, but looks like we might create finally bullish opportunity we discussed. So yesterday towards end of the session we broke through 1525. Tokyo retested that level, and we are trying to go higher. So watching very carefully 1525 from that buying perspective this time. Again, I might not be involved today because end of the month manipulation, but I like to see what's going to happen and where we are going to end the day, because yesterday candle is still positive from the buyer's perspective. We saw the lower shadow, but the close was still above this consolidation we've seen. So I'm going to monitor closely, and maybe opportunities will arise as early as next week. Oil, no change to what we discussed second ago. Yeah, looking to fade any kind of the rally, both from intraday and medium term perspective. Guys, it was my pleasure to be with you today. It was my pleasure to be with you this month. So for those who cannot join me this afternoon, I wish you pleasure. I wish you very nice weekend. Recharge your battery, and we will be back next as early as next week. It's gonna be new month, so new challenges, right? For those who have it, for those who got the time, you are more than welcome to join me this afternoon. We are going to cover Canadian GDP live. Again, don't be trapped during the London session. See you around New York Open. Have a great London session. Goodbye, guys.